can't hear her. I don't know how to use your thing.
Kathy, you have the power to
I know. I don't have the power. Heather has that power. Ben,
I have
that
power.
off the power to someone else, which is usually the
Love
problem.
you, Megan.
Speaking
Does
of
everybody
power,
does everybody only see themselves in Kathy?
No.
I see everybody.
Gallery view.
I see everybody.
I've never done Zoom on my phone, and I'm doing it on my phone right now.
Oh,
Okay.
on your
You know that
phone, you can
tonight is
only see the
actually
person
a Zoom
talking.
instruction.
Yeah.
Oh, no wonder. Okay. Well,
Tonight's special experience, we're all going to learn how to use Zoom.
thank
It's going to be a master class. I didn't want to spoil the surprise. The tea was really a decoy.
I need that.
No, but seriously, I really am super grateful for you all taking a little bit of space and time to come together and, share in what has been over the past few years this really important vehicle for me to celebrate the womanhood and motherhood. And I knew that this year it had to be different. And I posed that question in the paperless post about, does it feel different? Because it does, and it is. I think that hopefully after tonight, everyone will have a clearer feeling about what the vision is for this organization and what this collective started as and where I long for it to go, both personally and as an impact in our community. But before I go any further, because I am so remiss in pointing out that this beautiful drawing, which you guys saw on all of the packaging, is this beautiful artwork that was done by my assistant, Heather, who is incredible. It's on the matches too. And after we sent it all out, I was like, I cannot believe you didn't sign this artwork. I mean, some people are hanging it in their homes. Anyway, Heather is an incredible artist and extremely talented and organized and all the things that I am not. So I just wanted to throw that out there, that I will be linking her website so that you guys can see her other work. It's really incredible. She does all sorts. She did my greeting card last year, my holiday card last year. She's really exceptional. And Jill Sassa is the woman who did all of this, the templates and putting these boxes together. And she's just so talented.
Jill made the drawing look amazing. It looks like it's just pencil and I love it.
Yeah, she did. Oh, that's you.
That's me. Huh?
She did an incredible job. And just before any further I go, without Jocelyn, I would be nowhere in my life as it relates to M.I.L.K. This would just be a small little idea in the basement of my brain. So I and many offer many thanks and congratulations for anything that comes off, because without you, that would not be happening. So with that, I want to shift a little bit into a quieter place and talk a little bit about what to expect this evening. I felt it was really important to continue to share my commitment to self-care and how important it is for mothers to feel their power and their joy and their love and their strength personally, so that they can model that for their children. And what became really clear to me this past year was that without all the privilege that I have, like I can't imagine being a mother this past year and having any of the ability to have summoned the resources to get through. And so it just became very evident to me that that the imperative for M.I.L.K. going forward was to provide this privilege of space and time to other mothers.
Kathy, you're muted.
Yeah.
That part wasn't important. These parts are. Like that it just that how important it is to fill our own cups, and that myself, my mother, so many women historically have felt that taking care of themselves and feeling good and feeling joyful and feeling alive is selfish. And I really want to take this year, this direction to be the both and of how important and essential it is to fill our own cups, and how hard it is as mothers to still yourself enough to know what you need. And how in my deepest reaches of my heart know that giving that to other mothers is essential for their well-being and the well-being of children. And so I'm committed to still honoring the fact that even though we have privilege and we have all sorts of things that other people don't, that we still need to have radical self-care, and that that's not selfish, and that we can do that and we can offer that to other mothers. And so this year, this journey is going that way. And tonight, I hope we get to have a little bit of space and time with a dear friend of mine, Riikka, who's going to lead us on a little ritual to get us, a little bit still and in ourselves. And then hopefully on the other side, I'll provide a little bit more deliberate clarity and direction going forward. But I just want to share a little bit about the past year for me, because I think it offers a lens into where we're going, or where I hope we're going, or where I'm going. You're welcome to come. And about 3 years ago, I really became more attuned with my own health, and with how I had been so disassociated from my body and my needs and my desires, and how forever that had felt like just an extra, like it wasn't essential. And once I found that connection, it really turned everything in my life upside down. I realized that I wasn't supposed to be in my marriage, that maybe I'm not even supposed to be with a man, that my religious beliefs changed. A lot of these sort of foundational principles were like ripped out from underneath me. And then we had to move, and my father died, and my dog died, and just a lot of change. Really, everything in my life that felt certain was no longer certain. And with the filter of the pandemic, and then I had a sort of traumatic injury to my collarbone that I had to have reconstructive surgery on. My health started to really fail, and I got really falling into old habits and patterns. And I been sober for a long time. I have a lot of history with addiction and ADHD and all sorts of things that I wasn't really aware of, that once I cleaned my own mind and realized like how vicious and persistent and constant the voices in my head had been all my life. It's like getting a taste of that clarity and that freedom and that deep connection with my own self and my own body and what I really want. And and then losing all of that, you're like, oh my God. And if it would not been this past year, like, I don't know how, if I hadn't had resources with my kids and friends who are able to hold space non-judgmentally, and to just hold me through this past year, I don't know what I would have done. Honestly, like it's been the hardest year maybe of my entire life. I think especially having 4 small children and having a sense, now as sort of parenting my own self as an adult woman, like realizing how they need me to show up for them in a different way than the model mother I had been trying to be. That's not what they need. It's what I wanted to show, but it's not what they need. What they need for me is to feel whole and healthy and happy, and fulfilled. And so I feel this deep sense of gratitude for the amount of support and structure and love and people that I have around me to help me through these times, to build back these habits and to get my health back, and to not feel like, you know, because you stumble or because things get hard or because you fall back into old ways, that's just all that it is, and that your story is written. And so, you know, this group has provided me with this space inside of my heart and my spirit that felt like if there was a way to move forward and to be able to help other mothers, these are the women that I want to invite along. And how do I do that? And what does that look like? And who are these mothers? And the other thing about, you know, being of service that I just want to be really clear about is, you know, that just because I am being of service or that I'm helping other people, like my problems don't go away. I spent a lot of time doing the right thing, and being good and helping other people. And yet I was still sitting with the same problems, always with the same mindset, always with the same subtle voices that were keeping me stuck always. And so the commitment to having, which, you know, hopefully tonight we'll get a taste of what that's like, but having these experiences where we get to treat ourselves and to know ourselves a little bit deeper, and then having some more real clear direction and action where we can clearly take that and put that out in the world. So I want to take this moment to just give you a little heads up with, we're gonna have, hopefully you guys all have your station. And I don't have my matches. I have this, which feels sort of anticlimactic after I just told you about Heather's beautiful matchbox, but I forgot to bring it to you. But I'll give you a little snapshot of what mine is looking like here. But you know, hopefully you guys all have your little templates in front of you. And I'm gonna give you guys a couple minutes if you want to get to pee or to get yourself situated. But I want to introduce beforehand, Riikka is a dear friend of mine, and she is the creator of the Living Light method, that guides women to live through, you know, to radically release in order to create a more joyful life. She's a certified spirit coach. She's a Reiki practitioner. She's a Feng Shui consultant, and at her own company, MoonGate Feng Shui. And she's going to guide us on a little journey to the softest and most vulnerable parts of ourselves, and sometimes scariest, but into our hearts. And I look forward to meeting you. So you'll hear some music and you'll hear some things, and then she'll let us know when it's time to reconvene.
Parashakti Sundari Namastasye, 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 Namo Namaha. Mahamaye Mangali Namastasye, 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 Namo Namaha. Mahakali Bhairavi Namastasye, 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 Namo Namaha. Mahalakshmi Vaishnavi Namastasye, 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 Namo Namaha.
So welcome everyone. So glad to be here with you all. If you can find yourself in a really comfortable position, we're going to be sitting about 20 minutes or so in this ceremony. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you for this beautiful space. So please start by lighting your candle. And while you do that, tune into your intention for the ceremony. It can be something as simple as my intention is to be present, or open, or curious. And then take a moment to watch the flame and allow it to amplify this intention for you. And also visualize this candle being connected to every other candle on this call, almost as if we were sitting around a bonfire and giving gratitude for the space that is being created here and allowing our intentions to be magnified. And then I'd like you to unwrap this gorgeous tea offering, placing it into your cup and pouring water over it. We'll be activating our senses, all 5 senses. So we're gonna engage all the 5 senses, helping you arrive deeper into this present moment. And we're gonna start with the eyesight, watching this tea open into its full blossom. So we're gonna take a moment to really engage our eyesight and take in this magic, this beauty. And while it's opening, you can start engaging your sense of smell as well. You can get closer to the water and letting this aroma fill every cell of your body. And then you can engage your sense of touch or feeling by placing your hands around the cup, feeling the sensation of the heat, while we keep engaging our eyesight, watching this unfolding. Watching its every move, every opening. While we keep activating our sense of smell and touch. Really allowing yourself to engage with your entire body. Going from the eyesight into the smell, the touch. And then you can engage your hearing as well. See what you're hearing at the moment around you in your environment. Mind is starting to open slowly. And then when you feel comfortable, take a sip of this tea. Activating the sense of taste Hmm. And after you take a sip, just close your eyes for a moment. With your mind's eye, travel to the place where this tea was planted, where it grew. Let your mind take you to the land. Imagine tasting the sunshine and the rainwater, and maybe even the soil that made this tea possible. And also giving gratitude for the people and the hands that harvested the leaves and the petals. And you can open your eyes. And then we're going to move into the second part of this ceremony, into breathing meditation and visualization. So find a place to sit again that you can sit with your spine erect. So with hands palm up in your lap, breathe for a moment and just get grounded and settled. You can close your eyes and then place your hands on your lower belly, the dantian, 2 or 3 inches below your navel. Gently place both of your hands there. And breathe in through your nose with your mouth closed and your tongue pressed gently into your teeth, into your front teeth. And imagine that you are drawing light energy down into your lower body, into your lower belly, into this place below your navel, filling it with bright light. Holding your breath for a moment, allowing it to expand naturally, and then releasing your breath through the mouth. Imagining that the light is exhaled through every pore, moving out into your surrounding environment, the room that you're in, to your house, into your neighborhood, into your town. Just taking another breath like this on your own. Breathing in light and breathing out light. And the next, I'd like you to place your hands in the prayer position, where the hands are placed with palms together and the tips of the 2 fingers, middle fingers touch. So all your attention is going into the meeting point of your 2 middle fingers and the tip of those 2 fingers. This is the pericardium meridian, so it helps us to connect both hemispheres of our brain and also our heart. It's a fire element in that point. And the hands are positioned right below your nose, so when you exhale, you can feel your own breath. And we're going to do another short breathing, our hands like this. And once again, breathe in through your nose with your mouth closed and your tongue is pressed gently against your front teeth. And imagine again that you're drawing light in through your fingertips to your heart and down to your dantian, filling it with bright light. So you're taking in this beautiful inhale filled with light as it was coming in through the fingertips, into your heart, down to your dantian, and filling your space, your body with this light. Holding it for a moment. And when you breathe out through your mouth, imagine that the light is exhaled through your fingertips. Let you do this one round on your own, and your hands might get quite warm, so you might notice that. And then I'd like you to place both of your hands on your heart, keeping your eyes closed. Take a moment to notice what it feels like to hold your own heart this way. We're going to take a little journey into the heart. Keeping your eyes closed, with your mind's eye, I want you to see a gate in front of you. This gate takes you to a garden. And as you walk through the open gate, you realize you are inside your own heart. Take your time to look around. Notice what's there. What is this garden filled with? As you keep walking, you arrive to a place that looks like a true sanctuary. And its beauty completely surprises you. You walk closer and see that it's an altar. You notice there's an object placed upon the altar, and you move closer to see what that is. Take a moment to let this in. It may be a symbol or an image or something else. It does not have to make any sense to you. But what this object represents is your deepest unmet need or a secret inner desire, a part of you that is ready to be acknowledged. So you sit down and start a conversation with your intuition, your higher self, whatever you call that part of yourself that is always there and knows. So your first question is, what is my unmet need or secret desire? Perhaps you receive a tangible image or other information that helps you better understand it. Just trust what you see. There's no right or wrong. And next, you ask yourself, what action could I take to begin to satisfy this desire? And what will become possible if I take this action? What is the feeling that awaits me on the other side of that action? Do you feel nourished or grounded, excited, relaxed, energized? Just feel into that for a moment. And lastly, ask your intuition to give you information about a small action you could take to pass that feeling on to another mother in the weeks to come. Again, it may show up as a symbol or an image. It's okay if it's not clear right now. Later in this call, it may become clear what this message is for you. And when you feel complete, thank your higher self for the guidance and start walking towards the gate. And as you step out of the gate, take a deep breath. Move your toes and fingers. Come back to the room. When you're ready, you can gently open your eyes and take a sip of your tea. It's beautiful. So I invite you to take a moment to journal about your experience, any messages that you received, and then we'll call you back to the space in a moment. Catherine will. Thank you.
few minutes or a few more moments to write down anything that you do. It never ceases to amaze me how taking small moments to still my mind and to ask myself truly what I am needing or wanting, how things show up that are surprising. I hope you guys were able to write down some things that came to you. I know for me, what has happened a lot in my history of being a deeply empathic and anxious individual is that I feel all the suffering and all the ways that our world needs to be healed. And I become paralyzed with indecision and where do I go, or doing too much and feeling depleted, or not doing enough and feeling not good enough. And what became clear to me is coming up with some really clear direction, both for myself and for other people around me, to have very specific ways to be of service. And so I want to be super clear, and I want to give some really good insight and options for people to take action. And I want to introduce, if you're looking for ways to be of service, or you're looking for other mothers in different communities or demographics to connect with and to create more joy, also more communion, more community, more mutual benefit. That has been my mode of action and exploration as of late, is discovering new and different populations of mothers that I don't have a lot of connection with, and I don't have a lot of understanding or perspective on the experience of. And so we're going to give you some really good information on a specific area where we feel like there can be a really direct and clear way to get involved and to create some joy and some community. Alex Hess has been instrumental in helping me build this relationship with a very specific organization called the Gilead House, which I'll tell you, when I went to search for organizations for mothers in Marin, this is the only one that came up. And so she did a lot of help and work with them. And so I'm going to let her give some information, details on that.
Okay, there, I'm unmuted. Hello, everybody. I'm Alex, and I've been working with Kathy as M.I.L.K evolves into identifying opportunities and programs where we can all get involved. And Kathy was interested in Gilead House, which she mentioned, and it's this amazing organization just in our backyard up in Novato. Its goal is to get homeless single mothers off of the streets and to basically get them back on their feet and to empower them to become independent emotionally, financially, and to give that to their children too. It's a 2-year program where the women are, there we go, here's the website, it's beautiful. The women are brought in for this 2-year program with their children, and they live in this beautiful house up in Novato. It's a 6-bedroom, 6-bath house. And Kathy and I went up there and visited. It's lovely. It has this warm and welcoming feel to it. but basically the women are there for 2 years, and they are enroll in school, they get jobs, their children are provided with schooling, and they get mental health support. It's basically every kind of support that these women have lacked their entire lives, and they're given this. And as I said, it's 2 years, and it's a lot of work. And a lot of these women come from incredibly traumatic backgrounds. And so the commitment, the work is really inspiring when you think about what they have to accomplish over those two years. And so they really have to come with a real desire to want to change their lives and to change the lives of their children. There's a bunch of women on the website that are highlighted, and their stories are pretty amazing. But there's one woman, Christina, who came up many times during our conversations, and she came to Gilead 2 years ago. She's just wrapping up her program there, and she'll be transitioning out. But she came with her 6-year-old son, and she came from a really traumatic background that was happening inside her home. And her son has only known shelters before he arrived. And she basically has had no stability her entire life. And what the house found so incredibly inspiring about her is from day one, she set about setting goals for herself. And she had a whiteboard on her wall in her bedroom. And this was, again, a skill that she learned there. And she would cross things off and add new things and cross them off. And about 18 months into the program, there was nothing on her board. And the families kept saying to her, "What happened? You were so dedicated to your board." And it's pretty amazing. She said, "Well, I've accomplished everything I set out to do while I was here." And while she was there, she enrolled in real estate classes. She's getting her license right now. She's been employed at a property management firm the whole time. She paid off $70,000 in debt. And for the first time in her son's life, he had stability and his own bed, which was a really big goal of hers. So she's now transitioning out of Gilead House, as are the other 5 women, and they're off to their new start. And so, but we would like to help. There's 6 new women that are coming into the house, and we'd like to help with their fresh new start. And this is where M.I.L.K comes in, and Kathy can speak a little bit more about what we can do to help.
So we have 3 really specific ways you guys can help. You can get involved in helping these 6 new mothers and their families. One is we have a whole list of things that they need to get started in this home. So you can just go on we're going to send you afterwards a follow-up email that's going to have all the information on it and what level you want to be involved, if you want to be involved, how, and you can sign up for that. You can just buy something and say, that's all I have the bandwidth for, and that's awesome. You can come and help. We're going to put together these big, beautiful baskets to take over there. And you can also come with us to take them over. Going forward, the hope is, and historically it's been available where, when there's not COVID, that you can go and we can make dinner with the women. We can, have like an evening where we cook for them and get to know them. Certainly my deepest commitment to being of service is not just showing up and giving a bunch of mothers what we think they need. I think that it's really important to be, for me, in this capacity, to show up and to be curious and interested in what mothers feel they need, and to really ask and to listen with a open, active mind, and not to be judgmental or self-righteous, to just show up in a really supportive and respectful way, and to understand that just like us, there are some times where you need to make an appointment, but what you really need is someone to talk to. Or what you really need is maybe a massage. And maybe some of these women that have never had something like that, or even the idea of asking for something like that, being able to give these women who are in such extreme scenarios, something that they really want, that their secret, deepest yearning and desire, and to also support them in the ways and the programs that are showing up for them and giving them these means that they cannot get on their own. Certainly that is essential, but I want to show up in joyful ways. I want to find community and connection with other women in different circles and communities. And I want to get to know them in like a really joyful way. And I still want to create these celebrations of womanhood and motherhood with all different types of women. And I want to create that community and that space to acknowledge the fact that we all have very different backgrounds and come from very different places, but that we share a lot and that we have a lot in common. And there's nothing like showing up and being in connection and communion with someone who comes from a very different place and feeling that that sameness, the fact that we are not other. And so that's my goal, that's my hope. And I'm inviting you guys to be part of this journey, to come with me. There's no forcing. And I don't have, the vision is not crystal. It's not like, this is definitely how it's going to look and how it's going to feel, but I have other ideas already about ways to bring people together and to share experience that helps us get in touch with ourselves and with others and to make a real impact and a real difference. And all while keeping our cups full and them runneth over into filling others. So I did set aside a little bit of time at the end if anybody wants to say anything, or if they have any questions, or if you want me to give you a tour of my 6th grade bedroom. I just want to open up that for anybody.
I have a question, Kathy. It's Kelly. What is M.I.L.K? Hi, darling. What does it stand for? It's been making me crazy.
Oh my God, I love that you don't know that.
I don't know.
It stands for Moms I Love Knowing. It started as Moms I Like Knowing. And then I changed it because I don't necessarily like all of you all the time, but I definitely love you.
Awesome.
So it's certainly a no pressure situation, but I do love that B's on my screen. That's a face. Hi. So here's the story. I'm going to send out an email afterwards, and I'm going to give you very clear specifics on how you can be involved or not involved. And if you want, I'm going to, I was just going to say, if you want to, for some reason, my screen is totally frozen. But if you do, like, you don't necessarily feel like speaking out or sharing anything now, and you want to just send me a question or something in the chat or any way you feel like doing it, please reach out. I'm totally open. And yeah, I'm glad that we got to have this little celebration. And before I forget, these beautiful mugs were made by Barbara Obata. She's a ceramicist, and she's also a ceramic teacher. And she hand throws all of these mugs. And her shop and her story is sort of all written in this story of these 3 parts of her personality. It's called The 3 Sisters, and she describes it almost as like these 3 parts of who she is. And it feels very beautiful and meaningful because we all have many different parts, and to let them all live, that our joy can live with our service, and that our service can live with our power, and that our power can live with our softness, and that none of those are mutually exclusive. So I didn't get rid of the brass knuckle, and I'm introducing a chrysalis, and they can all live together, that they are not separate, that they are all part of. So much like all of you, I am so grateful to have all of your difference and all of your beauty and all of your strength. And I look forward to hopefully connecting and moving forward in different ways. So thank you guys for all showing up. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
I just want to say I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you.
I love you, Tracy. I can hear you. Even if I can see, I know that voice.
Can I have a couple, because I'm just going to end up saying these things to you later anyway, so I'll just say them now in front of everyone. I love you, and this is beautiful. And that experience with Riikki was like kind of intense and crazy and awesome, and thank you. I want the website for Gilead House in the chat. Pretty please.
Yes.
And then I also got really invested in the story that I was reading about that one specific woman who kept coming up, and now I want to know about what happens transitionally for them moving out of that house. If anybody knows anything about the support systems they have in place, I'm curious.
So Kathy, you can speak to it, or I can.
Go ahead, Alex.
So they're sent first to it's almost like a Gilead House again. It's an apartment where they have their a separate apartment now. They're not in a shared living situation, and they're there for another year, and then they're given they're off. That's it. But it's not just it, because they're not just let go. There's still all this support and helping them find housing, whether it's Section 8 and so forth. And the goal too is to make sure that these women continue to have relationships with Gilead House so that they can reach out and get support whenever they need it. Like, it doesn't just end after the 2 years. And so we asked about, how are the women doing afterward? And it sounded like about 50% of them go on to really lead successful lives. And 50% of them fall back into their old lives. It's a hard one to break, between addictive relationships and abusive relationships. They go back to it. But what's nice to know is 50% is a success rate for that. That's pretty good. But they're given a lot of support even afterwards. And there are many opportunities to help in that realm. It's just how much people want to get involved, and you can become a mentor. There's lots of activities. So that's more information that we can find out about if people are interested in it.
Okay, thank you. Definitely interested.
And that must be so heartbreaking for the women who live there when they see those women slip back. That must be incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
Because they're like your children, you let them out in the world almost.
It's so true. And Beverly Parenti, who's on here somewhere, is one of the founders of The Last Mile, which, not to spoil any future sort of events, but they've taken their program as going into prisons and creating labs and giving people educational opportunities and ways to get jobs. And they've taken their recidivism rate from 70 to 0. So, bringing women together who have, experience providing scaffolding and structure and systems to help support people when they come out of stressful situations, gathering that brain space and getting people close who have ideas and ways to, there's lots of ways we can make an impact. And some of it might be, buying what you need. Some of it might be coming up with a great idea for creating more structure and scaffolding. Some of it might be being a sounding board, and there's lots of different ways, but I think having very clear 3 distinct ways to plug in and just do and make it really easy. I'm going to provide you with those, and then I'll have more opportunity if anyone is interested or up for it.
So this is Beverly Parenti. Thank you so much, Kathy, for even mentioning The Last Mile and the work we do with your support, of course. So something I've been thinking about when I hear that 50% of the women fall back into their former life, and kind of go back to where they started before they had the ability to go to Gilead House, I'd say, what is it that makes them recidivate in a sense, or go back to those ways? Is it because they can't support themselves? Is it because they have dependencies that they can't overcome? But if it's because they can't support themselves and stand on their own, how can we help them develop those skills that they need to support themselves? And is there something that maybe collectively they could do at the Gilead House in a community? Is there kind of a business they could start together that would create a livelihood and a pathway to success so they can stand on their own? So I don't want to ramble on, but I'm already thinking of ideas of, you know, how we could collectively come together to give them those skills. Because when it comes to the incarcerated, that we believe that the number one reason that people recidivate is because they don't have the skills to come out back into society and get jobs and stand on their own 2 feet and support themselves. So what do? They go back to the hoods and they, you know, get aligned with the people who made them get in trouble in the first place. So I think we can apply a lot of the principles that we've had for success inside and hopefully make a better world on the outside for people who really want to change their ways but don't have the tools to do it. And I think collectively, this group of women on this amazing experience that we're taking together tonight, collectively, we certainly could help them have the tools to be successful. And I just honor you for being so vulnerable and for bringing together a group of people with a cause and a purpose and moving through this collective experience to get closer to one another, even though we're just virtual. And, you know, this is what the world needs more of. It's time for everyone to rise up, and thank you for leading the way.
Thanks, Bev. You're leading the way also. We are all leading each other, and it's just like not to quote Oprah, because, you know, it's Oprah, but you know, that every hand that is lifting us up, you know, that we lift someone else up, that we don't have to stay where we are. We can continue to climb as long as we bring those with us. So thank you guys for lifting me up and for being part of lifting those other mothers up around us so that we can all elevate each other. I'm eternally grateful for your spirits and hearts. And I will follow up, and hopefully we'll get together in person sometime soon and have fun doing it. You know, not to do it with a heavy heart, but to do it with a light heart and a light spirit and with lots of love. So thank you. I love you all.